right. Hello, everybody. Tyler James with ComixLaunch here for another live stream interview. And today I have a packed house, an all-star crew here to talk about a really exciting, fun event that is going right now over at the Backerkit crowdfunding platform. And this event is called ComicTopia. It's been running since July 18th. It'll run through August 8th. And joining me are a great group of creatives as well as a representative from Backerkit. And so I want to just introduce the roundtable here for our discussion. I also will just point out that if anybody is tuning in live or catching the replay, if you have questions about the Backerkit ComicTopia event, if you have questions for any of these creators, if you want to talk comics and crowdfunding and cross promotion and collaboration, that's a lot of what we're going to be diving into today on this stream. I'm joined here today by Lafia Morrow, who is a Backerkit customer success manager at Backerkit. Welcome, Lafia. Excited to have you here.
Hi, thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, and I also, it was awesome to see so many creators inside the ComixLaunch Pro community have been participating in this special event. So we are joined by James Masha of Dren Productions, Frank Martin, who is a prolific writer of comics, prose, and who knows what next. We have Joel Rodriguez of Metal Ninja Studios fame, and we have Eric Erdick, who is best known for Espresso Detective and his noir comics that he brings to the table. So all of these guys are participating in the ComicTopia event, and we'll get a chance to learn about their projects and their experience directly. But we're going to start by just talking a little bit about this ComicTopia event. Lafia, can you sort of share, before we even dive into the ComicTopia event specifically, Backerkit is now, and I believe it's about 2 years in as a full-featured crowdfunding platform. Prior to that, it was around the edges of crowdfunding support, and I think all of us as creators many of us have experimented with Backerkit, whether it's their launch tool or the pledge manager or the marketing service. But I know that about 2 years ago, Backerkit made a lot of headlines by getting full-fledged into crowdfunding. Here they are, you're two years in. How are things going for Backerkit?
I would say they're going amazing. Crowdfunding is hard any way you look at it, and Backerkit's been in the space for over 10 years, just like you said. And we've been helping creators from Indiegogo and Kickstarter with their pledge manager services. And then I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago with our launch email marketing platform. And the name of the game is we're just here to help creators because the crowdfunding journey is so difficult. And a couple of years ago, there was an announcement. Kickstarter made an announcement. I won't say what it was, but a bunch of creators came to us and was all like, hey, you've been around for so long. You did so well in the pledge manager space. Why don't you launch your own crowdfunding platform? And it had never actually crossed our minds. We were totally fine being, the man behind the curtain and just helping with, a massive program that beats spreadsheets. But with all these creators' feedback, and we've been working with them for so long, they asked us to build a crowdfunding platform, and that's kind of how it actually grew. And we got some pretty big creators to, test us out in the beta phase, and then we launched. And we're just building this platform for creators, and we're building it to kind of get away from the transactional feel of what crowdfunding has become, where you get your backers to land on the page, they check it out, they pledge, and then they leave. And Backerkit's philosophy is actually to create a community with your backers and have them. Oh, I kind of liked it when you were screen sharing.
I bounce around. I get a little ADD-ish with my layout. Don't worry.
I was like, I don't like looking at my face. So to create a community with your backers, so we're giving you a bunch of tools and giving you some tips and tricks. We kind of have like just the the program is just massive, but we want backers to be able to come to the platform, check it out, pledge, and then come back because they want to engage with the project and engage with the creators themselves. So we have a community tab. You can do achievements. You can even poll your backers. Some like RPG and tabletop creators like to do polls where they have a mini RPG scenario. So choose your own adventure, and then based off of the votes, they actually create the next day's poll question based off of it. So backers have a reason to come back. They feel like they're, contributing to the project and moving it in the direction for the actual backers and not just, what the project wants it to do. So and we're kind of making it more of like a social media platform vibe. I don't want to say that, but there's no ads, there's no, political views in there. You just come in, you're like, cool, these are the projects that I'm interested in. I can go check them out. I can go check out discussions. I can check out what creators are, what they're doing for their community. So it's all about that community vibe. It's all about engaging with backers, and it's all about keeping them to keep coming back to the platform. And then another, benefit is with other crowdfunding platforms, it's kind of a one-shop done where you have one campaign and then you're done. Whereas at Backerkit, we're like, cool, you did one campaign. What are we doing for the next one? And you grow your community, grow your followers, and then kind of like, I don't know, the end goal is kind of to leave your day job and to have this as your day job, your passion. So I don't know. That's my philosophy and view on Backerkit, but we're doing great. And these Topias are just kind of a testament to that community vibe.
Yeah, so let's talk more specifically about the Topia event. Was Pintopia the first one that had that went? And I'm interested, where did that sort of idea and concept come from? Originally, what were some of the things that you learned from the Pintopia, and then how have you applied that to what you're doing for comic book creators here in 2024?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pintopia 2023 was our first Topia. It actually started from Jason Fury, who's on a plane right now. He's going to Gen Con. I will be flying out tomorrow. But he just wanted to do a cross collaboration with another creator, where he wanted to partner up with another creator and like to give a freebie to anybody who backed both projects. And then from that just one idea, kind of like springboard into like, what if we did this with a bunch of creators who launched at the same time? And so the first Pintopia actually had only about 20 creators, but every single one of them was partnered up with another project. And if a backer backed both of those projects, they got a freebie reward created by each one of the creators. So you got like an extra incentive to pledge to both projects. So again, it's the community vibe where backers aren't just coming to one project and making a transaction and then leaving. They're coming to the platform, they're pledging to one project, and that project's like, hey, by the way, I have this partner project you can go to, and if you do both, you're going to get these extra rewards. So with those 20 creators, it kind of, we're like, oh, crowdfunding is hard. Crowdfunding is kind of a solo mission. What if we made it easier for creators to lean on each other, lean on each other's audiences? And because of the event, like we're advertising it, we're, promoting in our social medias, it's just bringing more and more backers to the platform, and it's creating backers from people who aren't in the crowdfunding realm. So fast forward to Pintopia 2024, a year later, we went from 20 creators in 2023 to 120 creators in 2024.
Yeah.
So Pintopia 2 was massive. We had almost 120 creators, and we raised almost $1 million from those projects.
Yeah, pretty amazing. And what I like about what Backerkit has sort of done here is you've taken the kinds of things that indie creators kind of organically are already doing, but then building some software and building some support around enabling things like cross promotion, which has been since kind of the early days of crowdfunding. Hey, I'm going to shout out these projects, I'm going to shout out those projects, but to actually have it built in front of and make it super apparent so that creators can see it, so that there can be you can track it. There's metrics that you can look at, is sort of that extra step. And so let's jump and talk about ComicTopia. And I guess one of the things that I will say, because as you know, with this show, we talk a lot about crowdfunding. We talk a lot about the comics aspect of it. And It did seem like as Backerkit was getting up and running, probably for a lot of good reasons, the focus in the early projects were some of, hey, let's get some of the biggest board game creators that have had massive success, that they've already, run all their backers through Backerkit, and it's kind of a no-brainer to start there. But the challenge being is, when you guys first launched, I think, there was like 2 comic projects live. And so doing an event like this to really galvanize and encourage and give an extra incentives to comic book creators to come over and launch on this platform just seemed like a really smart idea to help grow that aspect of Backerkit's launches. But can you talk a little bit about, what some of the unique features of this ComicTopia event?
And exactly that. It's every Topia that we do, we kind of bring more creators of that niche genre to our platform. And again, we're only 2 years old, so we're still growing, but we just want to, this specific event is for the comic book creators. I've been with Backerkit for over 5 years and helping comic book creators, and I think it's a harder category for people to crack into. I don't know if maybe comic books are not a dying breed, but like, it's just such a niche, and then the topics are, so many genres in the comic book category. So it's just like, what if we made an event to bring everybody together, bring all of the audiences together, and like, Eric taught me a lot about comic books. I haven't read that too many in my life, but I've backed, I think, 11 projects now. My bank account's not going to be too happy with me. But I'm reading all of the campaign pages, and I'm just like, oh my God, each one is an individual story. It's based on something completely unrelated to the next comic book. But it just gets your imagination going, and the artwork is just incredible going into it. So it's kind of like, I would say, a marketplace for all these comic books, right? Like, I've seen Reddit groups, and they're like, you got to go check out this comic book and this comic book. And so there's just so many links taking you everywhere. So it's like, with the Topia, what if we just put everything under one house? A backer can come and can shop through, and then they get incentivized the more projects they back. If for ComicTopia, if they back more than 5 projects, they get this, limited edition exquisite corpse page where every creator participating in ComicTopia has drawn out a page to include into this one comic book. So it's like limited only to this event. And that's amazing too. Y'all put your, heart and souls into drawing out these 1 pages, and it's just going to create a really cool comic book all on its own.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's an interesting thing, and something that, I have been thinking, more along the lines of, and I'm surprised that more crowdfunding platforms, given that their business model, like everyone that is that backs a project on a platform like Backerkit, well, they're all Backerkit customers. Yes, their first customer, the primary driver is the thing that they're pledging for, but they're also your customers. So finding ways to reward people, whether they be the super backer style folks, or people backing a certain number of projects in a certain number of time, or earning points to then apply to future projects, like that just seems like a no-brainer for a crowdfunding platform. And I understand, like, on the management side, it can probably be difficult, but for a focused, self-contained event that with a beginning date and an end date and a real clarity around what that freebie might be, you can do it. And so it's pretty cool that y'all are doing that. How is that actually, who's in charge of delivering that freebie to the backers that are doing that? Because, we've all learned, you got a lot of veteran crowdfunders on this call. We've all learned that the launch is not successful until every package actually leaves the deck, and there's a lot of problems that could happen between then. But how is that actually going to come for people that back those 5 projects?
So we're a small company, right? We're less than 60 employees, and we have packing parties. And so we volunteer, we go into the office, and we pack those up and we ship them out to our backers. For Pintopia, we had, I think, how many packages did we ship out? I would say like 4,000 to 5,000 packages. We shipped out this like special gold pin to anybody who backed over 5 projects. Yeah. It was great. I think there was like 10 or 15 of us just at the office, and we're just, packing and this group is packing these pins into packages, and somebody's printing the labels, and so we just have a packing party. We order some pizza. So yeah, it's actually us packing up the rewards and shipping them out to those backers.
Well, nice. That gives you an experience of what it's like for many of the indie creators on the other end of big projects. Well, this is great. I really appreciate you being here. I talk to these guys all the time, so it's always nice to have someone from a different aspect of the crowdfunding industry or on the support side of things. Just before I bring on take a look at some of the projects that the creators here have launched. I'm just curious a little bit more. Can you just share a little bit more about what your role is at Backerkit and how you help support creators, and you know, if anyone wants to reach out to you, what kind of things that you might be able to help them with?
I have been known to be called a magician by creators. So Backerkit's platform, we have three. So it's the launch, email platform, the pledge manager, and now crowdfunding. And they're massive. There's just so much information. And I'm on the creator success team. And so we are just here to help creators with anything, with technical questions about the platforms, helping you with audience building, helping, getting you in touch with our marketing services. Like, well, I'm just kind of the nucleus of a cell, but just here to support. I'm really good at Googling. People come to me with questions all the time, and if I don't know the answer, I'm going to go Google it, and then I'll turn around and I'll teach you about it. Because we want creators to have the most amount of time to focus on their project. Like, if your passion is to create comic books, you should be spending time creating comic books versus, messing with launch and sending out emails, or, getting stuck on a massive program. So we're here to make it as easy as possible. You come to us with a problem that you're having. We hope to, get you through it as quickly as possible so you can get back to what you love to do. So creator success, email us at crowdfunding@backerkit.com, and I'll try to help answer any of your questions.
Awesome. And I guess we'll start with Eric, because he is responsible for extending the invite. I know he has done some work with you and taking advantage of some of the office hours times that you've been available to him as he's been working on his project. But Eric, you're participating in this ComicTopia event with a book called True Noir Tales. It's a collection here. Tell us about the project, man.
Okay, yeah, great. It's good to be here. Always good to see you, Tyler. As you said, I'm known more for doing the Espresso Detective comic. I've got 4 issues out. I've had some pretty good success on the other platform on Kickstarter. And then these guys over at Backerkit reached out to me last year and said, "Hey, we'd like you to do a crowdfunding campaign here," because I was having them do what's it called, the service you guys offer with the putting together all the emails and everything, putting together the packages.
Backerkit launch. Oh, Backerkit postage.
No, I think launch. Yeah, I was using launch, and then you guys reached out to me and said do a crowdfunding project on here, and so I decided to not do my flagship book with you guys, but I decided to do like a spin-off. This is True Noir Tales, and basically this was included in the back of Espresso Detective as a bonus. And it's kind of really close to my heart because these are actual true life stories that either I lived or someone told to me firsthand. And they're pretty wild, man. I mean, I think the concept is that a lot of us have things happen in our lives that if you sit in a cafe and tell someone, they'll like nod their head and go like, that's bullshit. But, they're actually true. Like, I have a story here where I was literally a vigilante in the subways of New York, for real, in real life. And I made a story about it. The statute of limitations on a lot of the crimes have expired. And, there's also romance, and there's also this crime and adventure. And not all the stories are about me. I created this character with a little spiky hair who is kind of like, lives the stories. There's another part called Crime in a Resort Town. It's a third world country where a crime wave of thieves were coming in on the chicken bus at night. They go to the nightclubs and see who was dancing. A small town. Whoever was in the club wasn't at home, so they go to the house and rob them. And literally everybody I knew got robbed. I mean, they even hit the same house twice. So I got involved with the police chief in town and a couple of other people, and we tracked these guys down. And again, if I tell you the stories, you're probably like, yeah, whatever. But if you see them in a comic, it's actually much more interesting. So I decided to put these all together in a hard book collection, like a graphic novel, trade paperback collection. And I'm going to add a whole bunch of new stories to it, and I'm going to finish some of the stories that weren't completed. And I think talking about this whole accessing the crowd in Backerkit and getting more input from the readers, I just had an idea as I was listening to this, and I'm going to do a survey, and I'm going to ask people what they want me to make stories out of. Like there's some Comic-Con stories where I met some unlikely. I met some big publishers and ended up hanging out with them all day, not knowing that he was the president of one of the big four. So I'll ask them if they want to hear that story or if a UFO sighting, kind of get the readers involved in which stories they want put into the collection. It's all in black and white. And I have a really weird way of doing this comic. Usually when I do a comic, I do like 3 sketches of each layout, and then I do all kinds of research. And this one, I don't do it that way. I literally go directly from memory to ink with no penciling, no script or anything. It's just like a stream of consciousness sort of comic book doing. As you can tell, I just had an espresso, so I might want to stop talking now so somebody else say something.
Well, one of the cool things that Lavia brought up is the built-in cross collaboration and community with this. And so I noticed that your cross collab project is Captive by Frank Martin. How did this cross collab project get put together, and what happens when people back both projects?
Well, I'm happy you asked. That's kind of a funny story. At first, they got us all on a Discord, channel to talk about Backerkit and ComicTopia. And I'd never really been on Discord before, except for gaming, so it's a learning curve. But it was like, okay, guys, now go ahead and partner up. And it was really like LA dating. It's like we're all scrambling to find a partner. And I'm like, okay, who's got the biggest campaigns? Who's going to give me the biggest boost? And are they going to even want to talk to me? So I approached Joel, and he's like, well, let me get back to you. And then Frank's like, hey, we both have black and white comics. Let's do it. And I'm like, well, Frank's campaign is only digital, and I'm doing a hardcover. So I figured that was going to be a kind of a discrepancy in kind of what people are willing to spend. So I'm like, hold off, Frank. Let me see what I can do. So we're all kind of waiting for the better offer. It's like in LA. I used to ask a girl out for a date when I was single, and they'd be like, call me Friday night. Like if they hadn't gotten a better offer, they'll take me up on it. So they all paired off, and a few of us were left out, like the wallflowers. And then they did an arranged marriage with me and Frank Martin. And as I was telling Frank, statistically, arranged marriages are as successful as marriages for love. So look at us as far as if you scroll down a little bit, right there, stop, go up a little bit.
Yeah.
Top collab projects. Frank and I are literally the top project that people are collaborating to both our projects the most. So arranged marriages work.
There you go. Yeah, I love that. And again, that's another cool just thing to look at, a cool metric to draw attention to these projects. And so I take it that means that this is kind of cool. 32% of backers are backing both of these projects, which is the highest percentage of any of these, which is really cool. Frank, what can you tell us about your project, and how did you finally win? And how did you finally win over Eric with getting that paid after all? There's always two sides to the coin, right?
I was looking more for thematic links. I mean, Eric is right. I'm doing a primarily digital only campaign. He's got a hardcover, but we're both doing black and white noir crime comics, and they have very similar feels to them. So I think people that are going to be interested in one, regardless of what type of book it is, are going to show an affinity for the other. And this was a big up in the air kind of event. Nobody really knew how it was going to do, but I've enjoyed it so far, and I am excited to see how it all winds up in about a week or so.
You look at this, Eric. Actually, 54% of Frank's backers are backing your project, so you're actually bringing down the average. So
Yeah.
Frank is really bringing the heat for you.
I was wondering.
Little did you know.
I woke up this
piggybacking on his
morning and
success.
my shoulders were killing me, and
I know.
really,
I'm like hunched on top of him.
What can you tell us about Captive, the project that you have going on, Frank? And as someone who has gone through the process of shipping out tons of work, why did you decide to go digital only for this one?
I came up in Tyler's ComixLaunch course. I went from doing 1 project a year. Now I do 6 launches a year. And so I plan them years in advance. So when I got an email about this earlier this year to do this ComicTopia event, I was like, I would love to do it, but it's hard to fit stuff in your schedule. And I also have a problem in that I make comics, but I don't necessarily have plans on what to do with them. So I got lucky in that I decided to make this book Captive with a friend of mine, Matt, and we were just making it. I had no idea what I was going to do with it afterwards. But I thought it was good opportunity, good timing that I could throw this into ComicTopia. I don't really have the bandwidth right now to do a whole bunch of printing and fulfilling. But one of the big lessons I learned from you from ComixLaunch is that crowdfunding campaign doesn't have to be one thing. It really can be whatever you want your campaign to be. And so in this case, I'm doing a primarily digital campaign. I'm also revamping some of my older books right there, Empty and Masked, and I'm pairing them together as like a digital trilogy that are kind of black and white, thematically linked. I'm having a whole host of my back catalog that people can jump on. I was using Backerkit as an opportunity, basically, to bring some of my work to a new platform that people can get for digital, and it's streamlined. So I don't really have to worry about printing. I don't really have to worry about shipping. And that's how I base this campaign around. And based on those expectations, it's been a success because I don't really have the huge pressure of a big funding goal or stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, while there are definitely projects out there that are putting out nice gaudy numbers, a $1,200 month of digital comic sales, most a lot of it backlist, probably not a bad deal, right?
No, especially when I wasn't planning this year. I'm treating it as like a surprise campaign to my followers and stuff. So yeah, it seems like a little extra, a little boost, something. Because I had a campaign planned that launched when this launched. So I technically had a Kickstarter and a Backerkit going at the same time, which is a little bizarre and a little weird. But I using this opportunity to do something different, to experience Backerkit, to experience the Discord that Eric was talking about, because in ComixLaunch, we're always talking back channels about our own projects, but it's never part of the same system, of the same event. So it's kind of cool to be at least part of the experience. I mean, not everything you gain has monetary value. Sometimes just the experience itself is beneficial to be a part of. Yeah.
And I guess for the creators out there that have only worked with another platform like a Kickstarter, what kind of learning curve was there for you to just set up your campaign on a Backerkit?
There were obviously a learning curve. Some of the things that I was familiar with Kickstarter, Backerkit just didn't have. But I think Backerkit, the crowdfunding system, has done a great job of holding people's hands, a lot more than Kickstarter does. Kickstarter kind of just throws you to the wolves and say, hey, build your thing. And Backerkit really breaks you down through the steps of add-ons, of pledge levels, of what to do in the story to build out your campaign. And when you review it, they even look it over and give you some tips, which is something Backerkit, which is something Kickstarter never does. So that kind of support was pleasant to have.
Yeah, and it's cool. It really did seem like a cool thing that you got the Backerkit got the planning going for this relatively early, so that you could connect creators in advance in the lead up to this, so that hopefully you could come out of the gate together with focus and have those cross promotions set up in advance. Community is definitely a cool thing.
It wasn't just, I mean, that's one thing, the fact that they implemented in their system that they're keeping track of the cross promotion. I also saw that they had a 48-hour incentive built into the campaigns too. I know a lot of Kickstarter creators, they run early bird bonuses, but you then have to keep track of who those early birds are Backerkit does that for you. So it's doing that as part of the system takes a lot of stress off your plate that you just don't have to worry about, which is something that was new to me. I wasn't used to a lot of those perks that would just make things more streamlined for you.
Interesting. Yeah. I want to jump over to James, who is launching another book over here on Backerkit as part of ComicTopia. It's Cowgirls versus Zombies #1. James, what can you tell us about this book and project?
It's just another silly kind of tongue-in-cheek horror book. And again, as usual with my titles, the title does say it all. It is Cowgirls versus Zombies, and a little cheesecake stuff in there as well. But it's a project that I actually had, sitting on the back burner for a while because we only have issue #1 like completed. And so we decided, this would be the perfect time to test the waters with the Backerkit, the ComicTopia and everything. And so that's why this one got thrown up there.
Yeah. And, when Backerkit reached out to invite you to the launch, like, did you have any concerns or any reservations about participating in this event? If so, what were they? And then how'd you get around them, or what did you see as the sort of real opportunity here that made it worth jumping in?
Well, I mean, you know me, I'm reticent to try anything like new. I like to let other people try things out first,
Yeah.
and see how they go. But at the same time, I mean, I have launched something with Backerkit. I did it a year ago. It didn't do very well on Backerkit, but did well enough. And so I said, you know what? With the cross collab and everything, which I do a lot anyway, I said let's give this a shot. And the comic is doing pretty well for a first issue. Not as well as some of my other ones that go on Kickstarter, but like I said, it's going well enough that it was definitely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has kind of been a conversation that's been going on in the crowdfunding space for a little bit, and it's flared up a little bit. I don't know if Lafia has any insight or about it, but the sort of not safe for work, sexy nudity covers. There's been a few instances on Kickstarter where it seems like Stripe had an issue with certain projects and a fear that certain kinds of projects were going to be shut down. Like, how is Backerkit sort of navigating that, and have they come out with like a firm, clear guidance about what may or may not be too hot for the platform? I did notice that on some projects there was a pop-up screen that said, hey, you've got to be 18 or older and confirm to look through, which is something that I hadn't seen on a lot of I hadn't seen on other crowdfunding platforms, but seems like it would make sense for certain projects. But where's Backerkit's stance right now?
Yeah, we love to build things as we fly them. So the not safe for work. Again, I've been here for 5 years, and the amount of projects that have come across my desk, you're just looking at a black and white screen, and then you click into the Kickstarter, and you're like, oh, this is what I'm looking at today. That's one of the funniest things about working here. But we're learning as we go. And we have guidelines. You can check out our help articles on what guidelines, what we accept and what we don't accept. But this kind of artwork, not safe for work, it's art, right? And so we allow it on the platform. We are also, running into Stripe issues, and we have a trust and safety team who's working directly with Stripe. But Stripe kind of plays by their own rules, and so I think like 3 projects to date have been nabbed for their not safe for work stuff. And it's like, we talk to Stripe, they give us, guidelines, we tell creators what to do, and then all of a sudden one of them just gets nabbed. So we're just trying to get ahead of it before Stripe can look through your campaign page and deem it not worthy. But no, we accept all types of projects. We want people to be able to create their art and be able to sell it without having, the powers to be tell you that you can't do it. But the not safe for work little icon that pops up, it actually sprung from this event because some, comic creators were like, hey, we don't have not safe for work, stuff on our comic book, but we're going to be sitting next to stuff that is. And so that's why we created the, so you can switch it. It blurs out the background. One feedback was like, hey, I'm scrolling through Backerkit and I've got my kid sitting next to me. Like, I don't want this to just be flashing up on the screen. So you're able to like toggle it on and off that, you have to, if you have it toggled on, that all not safe for work is always blurred. But yeah, those features got built because of this event.
Interesting. Yeah, it's definitely something that I have heard some creators on other platforms be like, you back one project and then all of a sudden they're recommending projects that are making grandma's eyes pop or whatever. But yeah, it's I think something that we'll continue to navigate. We got a comment from Twisted Devotion saying, I get it to a certain degree, but why can Stripe dictate what allows and what not? The short answer is everybody connects to Stripe. They are the major player in credit card processing, and they are a company that is like 200 times the size of the crowdfunding industry. So the big guy makes the rules basically. But also if you kind of dive deep into this space, they are subservient to the giant banks, your Chases, your Visas, and your giant companies, and many of them have kind of weird morality issues. And then also there is a lot of money to be made charging a lot more money for stuff that is deemed to be more salacious, and so a lot of the big pornography sites that are out there, like, they won't use Stripe, they'll use something else, and the fees are astronomically higher because they can charge it. But it's a whole thing that hopefully most creators that are jumping into this world never have to deal with it. Start a backer train. What is a backer train? Is that just backing, or is there something more to that? I'm just curious.
So the backer train is if a backer pledges to the project, a 10-minute timer gets set and it counts down. And then if another backer pledges within that 10 minutes, it resets the timer. So it's really fun for backers to kind of like join at the very beginning of the project. Like once a project launches, we've had like the Monty Python game or even Gloomhaven. Or Brandon Sanderson. I mean, his backer train just like went off the Richter, had like 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 backers on it. But then the really cool part is at the end of the campaign. So we also have a thing called overtime mode. So your campaign is supposed to end at X time. But if there's a backer train going, then your campaign actually keeps going on. And this is like when creators can jump on and do a live stream, and they can, talk to their backers about like, get your friends, come on, like get everybody to join the backer train. And it's just a really good way to like push the pledges up at the very end of your campaign. Because backers come in, and it's so funny. Like, I even did it once. I was like, oh my God, there's a minute left. And I went in and I pledged just to keep the backer train going. So like psychologically, it just, instills that FOMO in everybody and gets everybody engaged.
Yeah, that's cool. So James, you've got a project that you're running that's a cross promotion, I know, with David Byrne's project. Were you aware of the backer train feature? And were you aware of that?
I was not. I was actually looking at the campaign recently and I saw it. So I was curious myself. So thanks for asking.
Because that, my head starts going of like, wow, if that's a feature that really works, like doing a last minute live stream or a closing ceremony where, hey, we're going to go as long as the train goes, and we're going to end at 10 p.m., but we'll go straight on through the next day if the train keeps going. I could see that being something that could be a lot of fun. for
Yeah.
creators to really lean into.
Since coming back from San Diego, we're going into full marketing mode to revamp our strategy for marketing on this campaign. And we're trying to come up with a bunch of different things. So I think there will be a Backer Train live stream happening at the end of this campaign.
Yeah, yeah. And so appreciate you, Joel, being here on the back end of a convention. But what can you tell us about this crossover project?
Yeah, so Dust County is canceled is the first time that I've actually been the co-writer with a very good friend of mine, David Byrne. We've been working together for years, and David's Canceled was actually one of the first Backerkit comic campaigns back when they were testing the crowdfunding platform. So when I got invited into ComicTopia, my first idea was to reach out to David, see if he was interested, because we'd been talking about doing a crossover for a couple of years, and this is what came of it. And basically, it takes our two different communities, which were built on Kickstarter and the direct market, and brings them together in some fun and unique ways. So for those who aren't familiar with Dust County or Canceled, Dust County is basically an entire geographic location that is secretly ruled by monsters. And Canceled is about a failed kids talk show host who gets fired, decides to get revenge by blowing up the TV station, and gets sucked into the airwaves, where he then convinces kids to kill their parents. So now Larry, the evil clown, has made his way to Dust County and is wreaking a bunch of havoc, which puts him in the line of sight of the vampiric ruler of Dust County and his team of monsters. So it's a monster brawl that involves a whole bunch of chaos, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Joel, you're somebody that, in addition to being a great writer and creator, you run Metal Ninja Studios. A big part of what you do over there, in addition to lettering and graphic design, is building out Kickstarter pages for many of the top crowdfunders. And so I'm curious, what did you have to tweak to your tool set? What was different about building and setting up a crowdfunding page here on Backerkit versus Kickstarter, where you spend a lot of time on?
So one thing that I got to say that I love about the Backerkit platform is the fact that the story sections can be adjusted and rearranged. Whereas anyone that's run a Kickstarter knows, as you build your page, you build the sections, and it's just one giant story section. Whereas on Backerkit, you build your sections, like you'll see on the left side, welcome to Dust County, the covers, the campaign, etc. Each of those is one HTML section, and once you create it, you can then rearrange them and adjust them. So that's something that this platform has that made our jobs a lot easier, because we didn't have to copy and paste entire sections when we're reorganizing. Aside from that, it was just a lot of the design elements are not necessarily copy and paste, but the requirements are very, very similar, aside from like the add-on images and pledge levels, just a couple formatting differences there. But overall, it's a very intuitive and fun platform to work with. So good job, guys.
Nice. All right. I guess a few of the questions, and again, we've got some folks watching on the stream. If you have specific questions for any of these creators, or for the or about the Backerkit platform itself, feel free to contribute those to the group, and we'll try to get them asked and answered. I'm curious, Lafia, where do you hope to? What kind of volume are you hoping to support? Over the next year, in terms of projects on the crowdfunding platform? Like, do you feel like the platform is there's a limit to how many projects you can successfully support, or and trying to keep it at a certain number, or is the Backerkit team really focused on let's scale this up as fast as we possibly can?
Absolutely. We definitely want to scale. We want to, well, my philosophy on this is there are creators out there that don't know they're creators and they don't know about crowdfunding. They have their artwork there, maybe selling it on Etsy or other avenues. And why not bring it to crowdfunding? You know, make a bunch of money during the 30 days to produce your rewards. Hopefully you can get a bulk discount and you get better margins. I want to create more creators to launch on crowdfunding. Whichever platform you're going to launch on, we want more creators in this ethos. On Backerkit right now, we have a 90% success rate, meaning 9 out of every 10 projects launched is successfully funded. On other crowdfunding platforms, their success rate is 40%, meaning 60% of the projects fail. On Kickstarter, at any given time, there are 2,000 live projects, and we want to get there, but we also want to get there with our 90% success rate. And so we're doing everything in our power to help creators before they hit that launch button, to make sure that everybody is successful when they actually launch their campaign. And again, Backerkit is here. We support Kickstarter creators. We support Indiegogo creators because crowdfunding is hard. But to answer your question, like, the sky's the limit. We just want to build a platform, the best crowdfunding platform that creators can, utilize our tools just to have their best campaigns and to, engage with their community.
Yeah, great. So we've got a little bit of a focus group here for you. And one of the questions that I commonly ask over the years has been, if you could improve these platforms, what would the number one thing that you'd be looking for or want to see, or this annoys me, why won't they change this? And so I guess I'd like to ask this little roundtable that we have here to just share, if you can, like, what's one thing, or if there's a couple things, feel free, that you're like, okay, yeah, this, I would really like to see this changed, updated, tweaked on the Backerkit platform to make it even more likely that I'd use it in the future. Who wants to be brave and kick us out? Yeah,
I
Frank's
got one.
All right, go for it.
This has to do with launch. So I have a series called Grimspace. It's kind of like fairy tales in a Star Wars universe. And when I launched my previous Grimspace campaign, I wanted to send out launch emails just to backers that backed previous Grimspace campaigns. And you can't do that with launch. You either send it to everybody that's backed your campaign or nobody. So I wanted to be selective which of my previous campaigns I would want to send launch emails to. So that was just something I kind of like a wish list. It wasn't huge, but it was a little something like, that would be nice.
No, absolutely. Real quick touch on that, because we have a staff only tool that we can help you choose which projects you want to send that specific email campaign to. So always email us and we can help you out. I know this is public, but I wish these filters were creator facing. So this is even better. I can go back to my team and be like, now it's public. So yeah, if you have any questions like that, filter wise, like you want to filter an email to a specific, campaign, or you can even upload an email list, name the email list and be like, hey, I want this, this email campaign to go to that specific list. Even if those people are already in your launch org, it kind of just isolates it. And then we can be like, hey, email to just those people. So we have the ability. I totally hear you. And I want that to be public as well.
Nice.
I was going to say, I have the same issue, but it's because I do the games along with the comics, and I actually have to have 2 accounts so that I don't email the games people the comic stuff and annoy the hell out of them. And the same thing, vice versa. So yeah, I actually have the same want there for launch.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and I know that I have 2 different brands that I use, but through the same account. But I can sort of select which of the 2 that I'm trying to do my launch focus on, which is pretty nice, because it's nice that you can have multiple Kickstarter accounts or multiple crowdfunding accounts, pull those backers into one lump launch list. Eric, you got anything that you'd like to say?
Oh yeah. Once I get started. Well, first I want to do a little bit of praising. Tyler, your help with comics, ComixLaunch has been crazy. I mean, I went from 0 to 1,000 following your course. So it's been like really, really life-saving. And with Lafia, forgot to mention before, but her support's been like super, super heavy. She does a thing called office hours, which, you know, I've been trying to contact Kickstarter for years, and I think I've never gotten a reply from them. But with Lafia, she actually has an hour every once in a while where she will just like go on like this, and you just talk to her, and she's like, okay, go into your pledge manager. It'd be really cool if you put a black heart right here, and you can actually use this part here to highlight the stuff because no one's going to scroll down, and like really hands-on stuff with my actual campaign building. I was like, whoa. She's been emailing me about marketing ideas and so on, how to promote. So it's been really helpful in that sense, super hands-on. And then on the Discord group, you can text Jason, and you know, he answers some questions there, and the other members give input and stuff. So it's been really cool. In the critique department, it's pledge manager, I think, is my problem. I think we were talking about this before. I would love it if you could build the campaign in the crowdfunding part, and all the items and rewards automatically go over to Pledge Manager instead of having to go in there and literally input every. I mean, I know there's some integration. I mean, the worst integration is trying to get it from Kickstarter over to Backerkit. That's like a whole other, you know, and escapade there. But yeah, if you can get that to integrate better. I mean, it's the same platform, so why not? Are you guys working on that at all?
So we just released V1. So you can now, I know this isn't importing into the Pledge Manager yet, but you can now create items on your campaign page. So it literally just got deployed yesterday. So you can create items.
I just did it this morning.
There you go. Yeah.
I just put it on my campaign this morning.
So you can add it to add items to pledge levels, add items to add-ons. And James, I'm so sorry. They're not going to import in the Pledge Manager, and you will have to do the work twice.
It's okay.
But V2 is coming, and that's the whole goal, so that you create everything in the campaign page, and then it just rolls over into the Pledge Manager. So
yeah.
We have heard you. We are working on it.
And I guess the one thing that I do enjoy about the redoing the work, though, when I do set up the backer kits is, you know, I teach this stuff, but I swear I don't know that I've ever done a campaign where I set things up perfectly on like a Kickstarter and hadn't wanted to make a little bit of an edit to a pledge level, or, oh, whoops, I duplicated, but then forgot to eliminate one. Like, so like the ability to just to spend a little bit of time to review and make sure that everything is just right, I think is a good thing. But I think you're probably right, Eric. If you're on the same platform, being able to import and then edit is probably definitely something that you want. It sounds like that's something they're working on. Joel, what about you? You got anything that on the crowdfunding side of things and the crowdfunding platform?
Yeah, this kind of ties in with Eric on the interplay between crowdfunding and the Pledge Manager, and that's really shipping. One thing I noticed when setting up this campaign is it's basically mandatory that you have to calculate shipping after the fact. And with our experience on Kickstarter, working with clients as well as our own, is people tend to prefer not having to guess on what the shipping would be. So what a lot of creators will do is they'll just bake shipping into the pledge level, and then that'll be the price. And then if people decide to add on anything, then they pay for the additional shipping. But at least they know baseline what that pledge level is going to cost, including the shipping. And then that deals with a bunch of calculations on the creator side, but then the creator deals with that. That wasn't really an option because of the interplay with Pledge Manager and the campaign. It makes sense, but in the future, if that's an option that we could have, I think not only would we appreciate it based off of how we build our campaigns, but I know quite a few of our backers would also appreciate that.
I mean, I'm with you 100% on that. I actually baked free shipping internationally into this campaign. I'm like, you know, I hate backing a campaign and, you know, spending $30 on a cool book, and then afterwards I'm like, oh, by the way, it's another $35 to have shipped from you from one side of LA to the other. I don't like that. So it's like free worldwide.
This was an interesting experience for me because it allowed me to see the difference in the Backerkit and Kickstarter ecosystems. Because when I went on the Discord and this was outside the ComixTopia group and just the general Backerkit Discord, I asked about that because us Kickstarter creators were just used to doing that. And I asked if there was a way to do that. And the overwhelming advice I got from other people familiar with Backerkit is it's better just to charge shipping after the fact, which is completely contradictory to what we do on Kickstarter and what our backers are familiar with. So it was interesting to see how different ecosystems have different kind of ways of doing things that are just normalized. It was interesting experience that there's just not one right way to do a crowdfunding campaign. But yes, us people that are familiar with Kickstarter, that's kind of how we roll.
Yeah, and absolutely too. I wish creators had the ability, like, give you the option, whichever way you want to go. You know, you have the tools to do it. I think we believe that all funds during a project should actually go towards the project and its rewards, and not be like fluffed up or buffed up by the shipping fees. Because some projects will come in and they raise 20,000 on Kickstarter, but 8,000 of it goes into shipping fees. So they actually only raised 12,000 for the project. So at least in Backerkit, you're like, whoa, I actually raised $20,000 for my project, and now I'm going to raise an additional amount in Backerkit for shipping fees. And then the last thing is we've seen so many creators get burned that they charge shipping during the Kickstarter, and then once it was time to ship, like a year goes by and shipping fees go up, people are just paying out of pocket, or like, you know, having to add an extra add-on to people's surveys, like begging people to, you know, donate money to their campaign so they can pay for shipping. But totally hear you that, like, you should have that option. Like, it should be your option.
The irony is that if you asked me what I would want from Kickstarter, it would be to separate shipping from the total, but yet I want it to be part of the reward. So it's like, I need to find a balance that's the best of both worlds, which is, it's hard. It's none of this stuff is easy.
Also, that's I'm taking notes too, so that's a great idea.
Yeah, and it's tough because, like, there's what like we want to do, and, you know, Charlie Stickney tuning in says a lot of backers won't on principle back a campaign that has shipping post afterwards, and I think there's a lot of, like, U.S. backers especially that I think got just that was the convention, and they got used to that. Although there is a lot of evidence that some of the biggest projects of all time all use the post Kickstarter shipping, or some of the biggest projects, you know, are happily collecting that shipping after the fact, and it doesn't seem to really be affecting them. But, you know, it's interesting how this is evolving, and as shipping continues to go up, it does seem like, you know, there is some, you know, reason to look at it that way. I'm curious. One thing that I'm curious. And this might be a question for Laffy, but also something that y'all are thinking about is, as you're doing your Kickstarter, or as you're doing your, when we do a Kickstarter campaign, there's the Kickstarter campaign, and then there's the survey. And if you're using the Backerkit Pledge Manager survey, that survey usually goes out 2 to 3 weeks after the Kickstarter campaign is ended. And most of the reason that creators are using that is because they know that with add-ons, they might collect an additional 5 to 20% after the fact over on the Backerkit platform. Is there the same timing with a Backerkit crowdfunding launch? Is that how that works? Is it like, or so there is still a separate survey that goes out after the crowdfunding event? Is that correct?
Yeah, same thing. The project imports into the Pledge Manager. Right now, they're separate entities. But the timing wise, it just takes, it takes 14 days for Stripe to give you your money, regardless of what platform you're on. So we're just kind of like, well, why don't you just wait 2 weeks, get your money, and then survey your backers, and then, you know, ship rewards or get your accounts to manufacturers.
Yeah, and that was something that I know some creators are like, oh, it'd be nice if it was just integrated. You didn't have to send a shipping survey. And my whole thing was like, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. There does seem to be this backer psychology that a certain percentage of them, if you wait a couple of weeks, give them the opportunity to buy more from you, they'll buy more from you. And I would hate to miss out on what is like usually the easiest money to pick up during a Kickstarter or crowdfunding launch. And so I'm glad that Backerkit also supports that. Yeah, Eric.
I just wanted to clarify something. I think I know the answer, but basically in Kickstarter, you would pay Kickstarter their commission and their fee, and then you would go over to Backerkit, Pledge Manager, and then you would give them a fee. But when you crowdfund with Kickstarter, excuse me, with Backerkit, the Pledge Manager is built in, right? You don't have to pay extra for it. Is that right, Lafayette?
Oh my goodness, I was totally reading the comments. Can you repeat your question?
Funny. No, I was kind of just asking if the Pledge Manager fee is baked into your crowdfunding fee, or do you have to pay extra?
When you crowdfund on Backerkit, you'll just pay a 5% on any funds raised. So 5% on the campaign and then 5% on the funds raised in the Pledge Manager. If you're coming in from another platform, you pay us a 2% campaign fee on what you raised on the other platform. And then you're charged 3.5% plus Stripe's fee. So it all kind of it evens out, but you are saving money when you launch on Backerkit when you're using Pledge Manager, if that makes sense.
You're basically getting Pledge Manager as a lagniappe when you crowdfund, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And then you get like the pre-order store, so you can attach that anywhere, so you can continue to collect late pledges. And some people, we've had one creator, she's been using the pre-order store just like indefinitely. She raised 60K in Kickstarter, and now she's like up to 100,000 on her pre-order store. And she keeps saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Shopify. I'm gonna go to Shopify," but we kind of just make it stupid easy for her to just keep her pre-order store open.
Yeah. Most comic creators still here in 2024 have not launched a Backerkit crowdfunding project yet. I guess I would like to just do another quick round. Like, what's something that creators should know before they jump in and launch on Backerkit? James, you got anything?
The one thing that I would say is that don't expect all of your regular backers over at Kickstarter to come over to Backerkit, because that is one thing that I've been finding with especially this newest campaign, that even though I have all these people following the project, they are just not coming over from Kickstarter to back it.
Yeah, I think it's probably we as crowdfunding creators, because we're doing so much stuff, we probably don't realize that when you do have all that equity built into a specific platform, like how much of a magnifier effect you can get from just that platform notifying all past backers, hitting all of that stuff. And so, that is something that you may have to work a little bit harder on when you're switching platforms or trying it out. Good point.
Can I ask a favor?
Yeah, Lafayette, go.
Go ahead.
Because we're also trying to figure it out, right? And like, I don't know if you would be willing to send an email to people who haven't backed your project yet from your mailing list and just ask them, be like, "Hey, what's holding you back from backing this project?" Feel free to email or reply to this email and just let us know if you get any answers. Because sometimes like it could be the platform, or it could be like, "Hey, I'm just not interested in this content. You had other content that I really liked." But yeah, it really helps out. And then if you could share the answers with me, it really helps us out too.
And Lafayette, one of the things when Backerkit announced that they were getting into the crowdfunding platform game, compared to some of the other sort of upstarts, the one key killer advantage that you all had is that, well, you have had thousands and thousands of customers already go through who emails on file, addresses. Have you been able to sort of take advantage of that such that it's an easier login process, or for creators that maybe have backed Kickstarter projects, use Backerkit Pledge Manager to process them, and now they want to crowdfund with you? Have you been able to take advantage of that?
Yes. So if you have a Backerkit user account, you just have one account for both your creator side and your backer side. Once you're logged in, you go to the project page, pick your pledge level, go through the add-ons page, and then click confirm pledge. And so we just try to make it as easy as possible for you to get through the pledge, and click yes.
Absolutely.
Tyler, I have a question. On Kickstarter, can you view add-ons without pledging?
Can you view can you view add-ons for a project but not pledge to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
I
there's a rewards tab, and so when you go to the
Okay.
rewards tab, it'll show you what add-ons are
available.
but it's super repetitive. Like the UI is not great over there.
That was something that I saw on Backerkit. That's easy. It's just at the top. You could click pledge levels. You could click add-ons, and because my campaign was primarily, I had a whole bunch of add-ons. That's what I was kind of marketing. So the fact that was easy and presentable to people was beneficial.
Yeah.
Another thing.
Yeah, this is. I'm just checking out Frank's add-ons. You can see he's got a set of all of his very nicely priced digital comics. So definitely check that out. But yeah, it is nice to just have a tab just for those. Interesting, and it shows you pretty quickly what how many have been purchased by different folks. Yeah, Eric.
So another thing that's kind of cool that Backerkit's doing is a lot of people would complain, like when before you launch your campaign, or even while you have it, you have people following the campaign. And Kickstarter was like, I have 300 followers and only 50 have backed. Can I email them? And we couldn't. But in Backerkit, we can actually target the people who are following us and send them specific messages. I remember there's a big deal in Kickstarter. People were complaining about that, so that was interesting. Also,
did they get added to your launch list? Is that how you then can target them or contact them, Lafayette? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. Where is that? I didn't see that.
I noticed you can also send updates to your people on your launch list, which is interesting. When you make an update in Kickstarter, you can't send it to people that back previous campaigns, but Backerkit allows you to send updates to people who haven't backed yet or have backed you previously, which was extremely nice feature.
Yeah, so basically in Kickstarter, we used to have to go back and issue 1, I would message all those people kind of individually. But like in Backerkit, since we use Backerkit to fulfill all the campaigns, basically I can reach all my my Kickstarter backers. Lafayette, is it almost possible to use Backerkit like a email service? Like I can import all of my MailChimp contacts in and use it instead of MailChimp, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And just make sure you have consent from that mailing list. We just ask that when you're using Launch, the email platform, it's specifically built for crowdfunding. So don't be like, hey, my grandmother's birthday is coming up. You want to be like, hey, my upcoming project's coming up. But yes, import your entire email list, import your previous projects. That gets added to your entire launch org. And like Frank was saying, you can post a project update, and there's an option for you to also send that project update to everybody in your launch org, not just the people who are back into your project.
Is there information like how many clicks and how many open, stuff like that, or no?
So it was so funny. We had a meeting about this morning. So with launch emails, you can see open rate, click rate, how many people pledge from it. For project updates, you don't get the click-through rates, but on your overview page on the dashboard, it shows you how many people visited from the project update, and then if you got any pledges from it as well. So they're kind of not difficult to read, but if it says EC in the tag, that's an email campaign. And then if it says project update, I guess maybe the project update is easier to read. But that one, it'll show you this specific project update got you 12% of your pledges.
Okay, cool.
So this is a question that came in from Twisted Devotio. He said, not sure if this, is there a way for backers that back digital versions, if they become interested or want to fund more, be able to back physical items? Yeah. So I'm assuming, the way Backerkit usually works is Backerkit can actually, you can use that and the pledge manager to deliver your digital rewards. So what I'm sort of seeing here is the case with someone backing, you actually deliver the digital rewards after the campaign, they read it and they want to buy more. I'm assuming if they left the pledge store open, they could go and back again, or as you mentioned before, you're encouraging people when they launch to be thinking about the next launch. And like with Frank, a lot of the projects that he has in his add-ons right now were projects that were previously Kickstarter funded. So definitely a way to get people in and get people experimenting with it and get people jumping in and hopefully backing you if they like what they get from you. Well, awesome. I don't want to keep y'all too much longer because we've been going at this for over an hour now, and I appreciate all of your time. The event is running until August 8th. Did the team have some internal goals for this, and how is this sort of stacking up, and what are you hoping to see going into the next or into the home stretch here, Lafia?
The goal is always to get 100% of the projects funded. So we are doing our best. I know Comic-Con was just this weekend, so hopefully, and y'all are probably tired if you were there, Joel. I heard you were there. And then a bunch of us are going to Gen Con this week. So one learning is maybe not have ComicTopia right at con time. Maybe do it a little bit earlier. But yeah, the goal is just to get 100% of the campaigns funded. And then we're going to do a big push to promote the Exquisite Corpse page to people who have already backed. So if there are we pull a report, there's a bunch of backers who've only pledged to 1 or 2 projects, be like, hey, if you get up to 5 projects, then you get this really special limited edition Exquisite Corpse page comic. So we're going to be doing a lot of stuff from here until August 8th to get all of the projects funded. But we need your guys' help. Eric is a good proponent of this, but smash your email list, email them like crazy, because it's only a 3-week campaign. Hit them hard. And James, if you could, ask them hey, why aren't you back in this project? It'd be really useful data for you and for us. But yeah, we just want all of them to be 100% funded.
Yeah, and right now there's 17 out of 27 projects have hit their funding mark, over $167,000 total raised. Indie creators as well as some bigger publishers. There's a Dynamite Entertainment project. There's a Zenoscope Entertainment project. Steve Rude has a project up there that's doing well. So a little bit of something for everyone, it seems like, and some cool cross promotion projects as well. So I'm going to encourage the ComixLaunch audience and the creators out there to get this going. And is the goal? Well, I would ask Lafia, what are there other Topia events in the queue? And then that if you're able to tease any, that would be great. But then also, is the goal for this to become an annual thing and something that creators can put on their calendars and look forward to?
Absolutely. We're coming out with a tentative schedule for 2025, keeping in mind all the cons and kind of when certain genres would do well. And yes, Booktopia is for novels and books, and that is launching September 5th. And then we're also doing a Tarotopia, and that is launching October 3rd. So we are just doing these back to back to back. My mind is going crazy, but yeah, we're in Topia land because we want to have these group launches. We want to have this just community vibe so that creators can lean on each other for these different niches. This is the first ComicTopia, and so we'll do another one in 2025, and hopefully we'll give you a little bit more heads up time because we know how long it takes to create comic books.
Awesome. Well, hey, everybody, I hope you have a chance to check out some of these great projects. There's links to all of the creators' stuff here and all of the projects here. And definitely back some cross-promotion projects to earn bonuses, back 5, and make Lafia and the team have to stay late one night with some pizza and some shipping and some tape and have some fun with it. But we appreciate Backerkit, all the work that they do for the crowdfunders and the creative community, and for shining a light on us comic book creators. Thank you so much, Lafia, for taking the time to be here. James, Frank, Joel, Eric, appreciate you all, and I appreciate everyone else tuning in and watching. Thanks so much, and we can't wait to see what y'all launch next. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.